Filthy, muddy, bloody. 4 years before 1918 there was a lot of blood, suffering, and war, except for Belleau Wood. In late May 1918 the Marines arrived to Belleau Wood, France, and waking, sleeping, I can still see before me the dark thread of Belleau Wood, as full of menace as a tiger's foot, dangerous as a live wire, poisonous with gas, bristling with machine guns, alive with snipers, scornfully beckoning us to come and be slain, waiting for us like a dragon in its den. Our brains told us to fear it, but our wills heard but one command, to clean it out. And I can still see before my very eyes those waves in the poppy-spattered wheat field as the steady lines of our Marines went in. You may be wondering, why did the Americans come over to France to fight? Well, there is an explanation to that question. The third German offense of the year forced its way through the Western Front in late May, less than 45 miles to the Paris border. The Parisians had to halt this and needed help, so they called their friendly American allies. The Germans could have won the war if they acquired the capital, so the American troops who fought abroad got right to France to help. On June 1st, the 1st Battalion, 5th Marines, and 6th Machine Gun Battalion did an involuntary night march to fill in the gap of the French front line. The corps advised Marine Captain Lloyd Williams to retreat. He said back, "Retreat, hell, we just got here." The captain died that day. On June 2nd, Corps Kanta on the German side passed a new line that was from Vaux to Belleau. By 11 p.m., the Germans were very far into the wood. On June 3rd, later in the day, the French and Americans were told of a powerful attack on the 43rd French Division. General Mitchell made new orders for the Americans. They were to make a solid line behind the French. The next day, Germans attacked Les Mares farms, but they failed. Many believe this was the high mark of the German defensive. The next day, the 5th Marine Regiment captured Hill 142 to support an assault on the woods. The attack was off on timing and had little preparation, but was successful. Later in the day, a poorly planned attack against the Germans occurred. The Americans walked across an open field where the Germans opened fire. 1,087 soldiers died. The next few days were pretty relaxed. On the 9th day of June, soldiers moved into position for another attack. On June 10th at 4:30 a.m., Wise's exhausted troops advanced through the dense morning fog and kept going, even though the Germans caused many to die. The Americans thought that they were moving north, but accidentally attacked the German embedded southern defense line. The Americans and French captured 2/3 of Belleau Wood. The next day, Americans organized a council of war and thought the Germans' hold on their part of the woods was weak. Americans attacked and the Germans the next day counterattacked. Marines in smaller groups were reduced to using their bayonets or hands in hand-to-hand combat. On the 25th of June, the Marines and Army cleared the rest of the wood. On June 26th, we won! Major Maris Shearer sent a signal saying, "Wood now entirely U.S. Marine Corps." A quote by the U.S. Secretary of the Navy, Joseph Daniel, sums up the Battle of Belleau Wood pretty well. "In all the history of the Marine Corps, there is no such battle as that one in Belleau Wood. Fighting day and night without relief, without sleep, often without water, and for days without hot rations, the Marines met and defeated the best divisions that Germany could throw into the line. The heroism and doggedness of that battle are unparalleled. Time after time, Officers seeing their lines cut to pieces, seeing their men so dog-tired that they even fell asleep under shell fire, hearing their wounded calling for the water they were unable to supply, seeing the men fight after they had been wounded and until they dropped unconscious. Time after time, officers these things, believing that the very limit of human endurance had been reached, would send back messages to their post command that their men were exhausted. But in answer to this would come the word the line must hold, and, if possible, those lines must attack. And the lines obeyed. Without water, food, or rest, they went forward, and forward every time to victory. After the battle was over, it became a little famous. It made a multitude of news headlines and a few New York Times stories, including "Our Troops Resistless" and "Whole Detachments of Germans Wiped Out. No Holding Back Our Men." This battle also made Marines more respected and known. The battle was not all victory. There were 9,777 U.S. casualties. Marine casualties were highest up to date. To add on to that sad statistic, there were 1,811 fatalities. We do not know how many Germans died, but we captured 1,600 of them. Their former battle site consists of 2,298 graves. 1,060 names of the deceased were put on a memorial chapel wall, and 250 of the graves are unknown. The American Expeditionary Forces experienced its first heavy casualties. To end on a good note, the French renamed Belleau Wood to Wood of the Marine Brigade to honor the Belleau Wood soldiers. The Battle of Belleau Wood relates to conflict. The conflict was the Germans were getting too close to the lines protecting Paris, which made the Parisians feel threatened, so they got the American troops to help them fight the Germans, which caused the second conflict, the battle. The battle was a conflict because it was two sides fighting against each other.